with the three main characters finally reunioned after all this time, it is that time to face off with Sinbad. We're going to have to see what that man has to say through himself after everything that's done, after everything with Arba. Now that he's like pretty much at this point mostly, I'd like to say defenseless, but then we are still talking about someone that is David himself, a reincarnation of David. Although, there was a weird part of this chapter where I was like, is there a pairing going on right now between, like, Hyogyoku and through fucking Aladdin? That was just such a weird fucking, like, moment in this series. But we're gonna go right straight in the chapter. We know already that, like, we're probably gonna see, like, at some point, like, sometime soon. I really do hope that's the case, since Haikyu said, like, it's gonna be a while, and the pacing of the series so far has been really goddamn fantastic. Honestly, I wouldn't be, like, surprised if this final arc would have, like, 40, maybe like a year's worth of chapters like going for it. But when they finally reunite back onto the Co-Empire, where they get to see like Hyogyoku right there, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, like after everything and all that, it's like she knew about where Aladdin and the rest were at all this time. However, she did not want to let anyone know since they were being watched or not, you know, since the states of affairs, like while Haikyu and all that were like felt, you know, like pretty much strained and all that. And pretty much we took precautions against like Sinbad in case like he was able to do that, because we'd seen him that he was able to like take over Hyogyoku before, and it's like we don't really want this shit happening again and all that, like whether he can do it like once or twice and all that, but we just like we had to take measures and all that against this thing. And it's just like he did warn to Haikyu that one day nations will not exist anymore, and until that day I'm gonna leave Ko in your hands. And it was not like he intended to dismantle the empire sooner or later, no matter what it took. And it was a nice little moment that was like Haikyu finally opened up to Hyogyoku once like she finally succeeded him on the throne. And it was just like, look, she like warned him, like told him that, you know, like Aladdin had been like summoned by Sinbad, and that there was going to be a great rift between them depending on the outcome and all that, that we needed to protect the Empire if, you know, Aladdin's power was abused, and would have to put like, you know, our lives on the line in order to prevent such abuse on the thing. And that's why like she was so stressed, and that she was trying to keep like, everything, you know, all nice and tidy. And that's where like I like how she was kind of like going, oh yes, of course, I'm a member of the like Ko's royal family and all that. It's like, yeah, I'm really good and all that. It's like, ah ha ha ha. And then they start bragging about the wedding. It's like, oh yeah, we're getting married, by the way. And she's like, oh, that's so awesome, that's great, you know, congratulations. And it was like this very weird moment where Aladdin and Hyogyoku sit down to, you know, technically the woman responsible for murdering Ugo. It's still weird how they kind of get along after that, you know, that's the kind of characters that they are. So it's like, you know, that she's put, like, you know, especially Aladdin is the sort of person that can just put stuff like that over it, and it's just like, and she was really excited and all that. It's like, yeah, they're getting married, her, and all that. And it's just like, in the land's like, don't you feel a bit lonely though after this and all that? Like, why? She's like, why would I? And all that. It's great news. And it's like, yeah, you're gonna want to get to know that she had that crush on him for a while. And it's like, she was saying, like, I tried to look cool in front of Alibaba, but truth really has been, you know, a difficult, like, situation for recently. And it's just like, you know, all this life she's thinking about is like, I've been thought about following my brother's need. I never studied, and I never thought at all to become an empress, and yet I refuse to like to apologize for lounging on this throne. And it's just like, I'm not cut out for this job. It's hard, and I'm like struggling. And really the thing is, like, you know, when they were talking about it, it's like, oh, you told Alibaba, yeah, about it. And she's like teasing, and it's just like, you know, you're a show-off, you piece of shit and all that. Like, you're like, Aladdin, like, go fuck yourself and all that. And I know I want to keep this in front of my esteemed friends. And he was like, then why did you tell me about this especially? And it's just like, well, you'd listen to me and all that. I just feel like you would and all that. That's just how I am. And it's just like, when he says, does that mean you like me better than Alibaba? And she just like does a little like tongue and all that, just go nah, like that, is saying, do me a favor, boy, and all that, stop getting cocky. I'm like, wow. And there's just this moment where just Aladdin just looks at the ground and is like, oh, I think she likes me. Like, I'm not too sure. Like, was she acting a little bit sudden then? Like, and I was like, there's just this really weird moment that like Aladdin hooking up with like Hyogyoku, because it's just something I never like. I always pictured like it would actually be like Alibaba and Hyogyoku. I always thought that'd be a nice thing, because like that would be able to like clearly, you know, the rift and land between the Koa Empire. But that's great and all that, you know, he's with Morgiana in the end and all that. I thought that would have been nice as well if like Haikyu finally got together, especially with someone, you know, like Morgiana. Then that would have been like, oh, there's a relation built there between like both, you know, like them with the Koa Empire and the finalists, and that would have been like a great thing to like, you know, like store the relations there. Maybe I'm thinking about like the marriages of it too, like politically, because that's normally what they are in these time of eras and all that. But it was like, it was such just a weird thing. It was just like, how are we having a little parent? And that'd be so weird, because if they technically get married or anything, if they really hook up and all, it's like, think about it. Like, Aladdin would be an emperor and empress and all that to the fucking throne of Ko. Like, so he would kind of almost be like his father, where he was almost like a ruler. So that would be something to think about. I know it's probably looking too much into it with Nether, like, it'd be weird if they just got hooked up around at the end, but it's like, even still, it'd be like a nice little thing. And like, especially like with where we're going on pairings right now, is as they go to like the kingdom of Heliathar, and just immediately, like right there, Yamaraya, Masur, and Sharkin in there, just there like, oh my god, I'm so happy to see you, and they're all yucking it up, talking about it, and it's just like, they're finally talking about like, oh, they've gotten stronger, you know, like, and I really like that, saying like, that moment between Masur and Morgiana is like, I want to tell you about our homeland and all that. It's just full of nostalgia smells and all that, and our people are so great and all that. And then, like, I love the fucking part where just Sharkin's grabbing Alibaba. He's like, ah, my student, my people's getting married, ah, like giving him a noogie and everything. He's like, ah, you little bastard, you're trying to slip in the dick there, like that. It's just like, I have a second joyous announcement to make and all that. And it's just like, I've got another one for you, Sharkin. He's like, I want to open my own trading company, and I'll collaborate with the fan trading company, of course, and all that. And he's like, you know, oh, I'm going to be working with you and all that, and I'll contribute, right, master? And he's just like, you're coming here for me using funds of the marriage celebration and excuse and all that. He's like, you motherfucker, I see that shit. And he's like, you're a wise person. And then with this, it's like, by the way, Sharkin, why didn't you get like married and all that? And he's like, yeah, I shouldn't I, and all that. I should really hook up. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, he's right, Yamarai. And it's just like, trying to pair up Sharkin and Yamarai, and I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers should have gotten hooking up a long time ago. And it's just like, and it's just, like her face is like, you're getting married, Sharkin? And he's like, well, you and I could and all that. And I just love it when Alibaba, Morgiana, and I'm just like, right, we're gonna leave, let's leave this to the grown-ups. And like, Yamarai has the most adorable, like, oh face when like she's just like, she looks really upset, saying like, oh, you gonna marry someone, like that, as like Masur and all that leaves them to like their little thing. And I'm like, oh, that is adorable. That right there is waifu material right there, where she's like, you gonna marry someone? Oh, it's just like my heart melted. I was like, oh, don't be upset, Yamaraya, it's alright. Sharkin, fix that D, bro. Fix it like that. You need to go and sort that out. You make her your queen like that. You treat her with respect. And it's just like, he gets super pissed because he's left in this situation. It's like, you motherfucker, I'm gonna get you for this, Alibaba. And ending it off where it's like, yeah, we've updated everyone and all that, and it's just like, our last stop and all that is to go and see Sinbad, and Sinbad is just there, you know, black silhouette, hands in his pockets, just looking at the world outside, and it's just like, how is he taking this and all that, with knowing that Aladdin's back, knowing everyone's back, Aladdin, Alibaba, Morgiana, everyone's there on their side, he's there, he knows Arvis, like, pretty much, like, fucked at this point if he didn't sense it, and it's just like, how the fuck is this gonna go down like that? It's like, what, like, he is going to try in some manner of speaking. I feel like some things it's gonna work well. I think it's gonna work alright. He's gonna try some shit, but I generally think something's either gonna make him snap, like he like just goes into old David mode, or like Arba might come back in some way where she might try and fuck with him. There's gotta be something like that. It's like, because I feel like the current Sinbad is a very smart and very political like man and all that. There's something I feel like that's going to make him snap, and it's going to make him trigger, and we're just going to have to wait and see like what exactly that case is. But yeah, Sinbad at the moment is a very dangerous person, and the fact that it's like, in just an instant, it's just like, yo, like I've got all these people as who are really willing to ride or die with me. I am the strongest man, pretty much. I am fucking the reincarnation of David, the man of the king of the seven seas. Like, I can do all this shit, and I have my fucking djinns and all that. It's like don't forget, it's all they try to steal all the djinns everywhere and all that. They couldn't do anything, but don't forget about the fact that it's like, this motherfucker can probably easily access them at any time that he wishes. So it was a really, really good chapter on the fact that it was like, okay, there was a lot to talk about Sinbad, even regardless. It's just him standing there. The fact that we'd kind of set everything up to now the confrontation between Sinbad, whether or not it's going to end up on a fight or not, is going to be interesting. And a lot of weird pairing stuff happening in this one. Obviously with the marriage just happening, but the Aladdin and like Kyoku moment was like the weirdest to me. I was like, I never really thought them two as a pair at all. I always thought them just like always being kind of close friends at all. And then the Yamaraya and Sharkin was just adorable. It was just straight up adorable. Like favorite panel is just her with a little hat down like that, looking really sad and upset, and just Sharkin like just trying to damage controller. So I thought it was a good chapter. Really loving Shinobu like doing with all this romance stuff. I absolutely love as well. Like, it's very interesting on the back with the whole Sinbad format as well. That we don't know if Sinbad's gonna go crazy or not. So I'm definitely looking forward to a lot with 316. So definitely gonna give this one a solid. Like I think like with everything with the pairing and like stuff in there, and also as well kind of giving us a last little thing with every one of the characters and all that. I feel like this chapter is like a 7.5 out of 10. I think it was a really good chapter. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. That's all for me. So thank you much for watching as always, and I will see you guys though next time.